Hey guys, welcome to another amazing episode comparing kayaks with yours truly. Yes, me, I'm the expert here, and it shows. You know what? Look at this. Pajamas today, guys. This is a video in the making for many years. You see, Old Town has been making this kayak, the 120 PDL, for a long time. We started with the Topwater 120, and I truly love my time with that kayak. It was, to me, one of the best kayak ever, because I remember in 2019 on that kayak, after a month of recovery from surgery, I went fishing offshore on this, not this kayak that you're looking at, but something very similar, the Topwater, and I caught one of my biggest fish catch ever. It was a giant tuna, and I caught it of a jig head, not a jig head, one of those jigging thing, vertical jigging thing. Forgot the name of the thing. Anyways, I just dropped it and the tuna was there to get it. And can you imagine being offshore on this vessel fighting a giant tuna with only a month of recovery from surgery, and the weather then turned so nasty? I mean, it was one of my favorite experiences ever. Just want to tell you that story so you know I've been using these kayaks, not that one is new, but this model for a long time, and to me it's one of my favorite kayaks ever because of what I just said, but also because it is special. It's super stable, it's big enough, you have decent space for your storage and everything else, and it's the one seller, the best seller from the Old Town lineup because of the price, well priced, and because what you get out of it. But we've been asking Old Town for this monstrosity of a kayak forever. I'm one of those people who's been super loud about, hey Old Town, you need to make major changes to your 120 because people simply want more. And guess what? They answered. In here, we got the brand new 120 PDL Professional from Old Town, and you could clearly see some major changes already. It is, you know what guys, I'm pointing the camera this way because I don't want you guys to see the mess that I have in my backyard, and I just realized I do have a mess over there, but the difference here is that that's not my mess, that's my wife's mess, so I could show it. I'm not gonna show you my mess, but I'll show you her mess. So I'm waiting here, I think, only if she doesn't see this video. Let's compare these two boats because I don't think Old Town is going to stop selling this model anytime soon. It's their biggest seller, and also is much cheaper than the new kayak in the lineup. Let's start here at the bow. These two boats are the same length, but you could tell that there's a giant difference between the two of them. I mean, from here you could tell already how different they are, even though it's the same size. We're gonna start actually on the other one. See, the old one has a nice drain plug right here, has a handle, which if you look at it, it is on the same place as the handle on the new boat. It has a hatch, which is nice and spacious, and it prevents water from coming in. I think this was when I flipped it many years ago, and also condensation, but this hatch does prevent water from coming in. See, the thing is, guys, when you have your kayak outside and it rains, water is gonna filter through whatever screws or stuff you have on the boat, but also condensation, like water has a weird way of getting inside the boat. I don't know how it's done. Check AI, tell it to tell you how it's done. My point is, you're gonna have water inside the kayak always. That's why we got drain plugs. It's not that the kayak is bad quality or something's wrong with it, it's just that it's nature. So you got a nice hatch, and if you open it, you have a nice space right here, and I'm gonna leave it like that so you see. So you start seeing the differences. And of course, you can make use of all this inside storage. And a lot of people, what they wanted to do, they love their PDL drive kayak in theory. Like on paper, you love it, you want to exercise, blah, blah, blah. But really, what they really want is a motor. And they started just buying aftermarket accessories, putting a plate here, putting the motor, making holes on the kayak so they could put in their batteries and stuff. They also even bought aftermarket plates that will go in there. I'm gonna touch on that soon, don't worry, I'll be back. So they started doing all these changes and modifications to make the kayak being like an autopilot, because supposedly they still wanted to drive, or maybe they bought this boat and they don't have enough to buy the autopilot, or I wouldn't say they don't have enough, they just don't want to put any more money into it, because hey, people have money, they just decide to spend it on other stuff. Whenever I hear, man, I wish I had the money to buy X, And like, can you go check your bank account? You probably spend so much money on things that you don't need that you could have bought X, or just get a part-time job or whatever. My point is, you have what you want to have. If you really want to have an expensive boat, you will find a way to get it done, right? So my point, going back to this, is that people started making this boat an autopilot. And in case they wanted to use the drive was there. Also, a lot of people complain about the lack of storage on this boat, right? Look at this. Look at how wide these walls are and lack of space. Maybe you want more. And coming back here, sorry if the audio start getting windy. Crazy. The wind is crazy. And if you go back here, like, there's no gear tracks here on the back, like, and it's only one power pole fitting type of thing that you could add a motor or add a power pole. So people started asking, hey, Old Town, can you make this better? Also, like, this right here, this system is nice, but it sucks. Can you fix that? And Old Town started listening, all right? Started taking into account everything that we talked about. And they came up with this. Look at this, look at this, look. We're gonna start seeing some major differences right here on the bow. I'm not saying this boat is better, because you're paying way more money for this boat than this one. I think this one is about $2,900 and that one is $3,600. Let me check my notes. Yeah, $3,500 for this boat, and this one is $2,900. And according to Grok, that's the difference of an extra. Grok, you didn't give me the, I'm gonna fire Grok. Oh wait, it did give me the thing. I'm sorry, Grok, I'm not gonna fire you yet. Plus $600, so you're paying $600 more to get the upgrades on this boat, and we're gonna go and walk you through all of that. So it's not that this is better, it costs you more money, $600 more. Is it better for you? It could be. Maybe paying that $600 extra makes it worth it, right? But let me go back here. You see this here? This is the quick release plate for an XI3 or something similar. It just goes there. You just go ahead, put this puck in here, right? And boom, just get your XI3 and you put your thingy there and ready to go. Now, Minn Kota models use sort of the same universal 4-hole pattern right here that is underneath this boat. And if you could see through the camera, there are inserts there. I may show you how it looks. That means you could easily go ahead and motorize this boat in literally a minute. You just get the quick release plate that you're gonna have attached to your trolley motor. Then you just put the puck, and in no time, guys, just doing this, I'm not kidding you, boom. I could show you a video of doing this, but why bother? Maybe I do. Maybe I'll show you how easy it is to do it. But anyways, in seconds you already have a motor installed. And I mean, you could just go ahead and get the battery cable, throw it underneath, and throw it through here, put it inside, and put a battery there that power the motor, and you're ready to go. You don't have to do anything else. But Old Town thought that maybe you wanted to have a clean setup. If you're paying $600 more, why not have more stuff? So you see this here? These are through-hole wiring system kits, whatever you want to call it. So you will pre-wire your boat. You will put a wire through here. You open this here, route the wire through. Oh, we're gonna touch on that later. Through here all the way out, and put the connector XN out here, and back here you could put a battery box. Old Town has one, but you could get one from Amazon if you like. I'm probably gonna link some of those stuff below. So the point is, you already have your wires ready to go, and whenever you want to use your motor, you just plug it in, put the battery there, and you're ready to go. And the reason why you may want to do that, not only looks better, but also it sort of balance your boat weight out. It trims your boat so that way it's not like from loaded, that it's gonna be less efficient. You're gonna get less speeds, you're gonna use more energy. So it's best to put 30-40 pound trolling motor right here, 30-40 pound battery on the back. Super cool. But you also have to be mindful of that, because if you have a giant cooler there, maybe you want to have more weight forward. You gotta play with it. This is not exact science. But since we're already here, let's start comparing some other major differences. Here you just have like a handle, that's it. And here you got a handle that is a gear track. Amazingness. I just love this. Why? Because I put a camera mount there and it has this giant look, epicness. or you could put a flag, or you could put whatever the heck you want there. Oh, by the way, over here you could definitely rig this up to put a power pole like I have on the back. If you want to put it forward, you might have to do some modifications on DIY, but the point is that you could do it, because the pattern here is not the same pattern that you have on the power poles, like the two that we have on the back. But my point is, you could still make it work like that if you wanted to. So something I really like, that. And now you see why this is like this, right? See that there? It's missing the prop. Where's the prop? Right here. That's right. So look at this. Now you have a prop on your thing, and you have a spare prop. What happens if you hit a rock or something and this breaks? Well, you got a spare here on this cutout that it was made out precisely for this. One point though, when you're taking that out, if you're lucky enough, you may lose the nut. So maybe it's a good idea to have a spare nut as well, maybe right here inside, right? That's what I would do, because hey, I'm speaking from experience here. So, oh, I didn't show you how it looks inside. It sort of is the same look. Look at that. Look at that, man. It's sort of like the same type of thing. Isn't that weird? Crazy. I think these two holes on the bottom is probably similar, but we're gonna check that soon, because I'm gonna flip them over so you can see. Moving forward, the drive is the same. As a matter of fact, you could like switch the drive and you'll be fine. As a matter of more fact, this model 120 Pro is also the 120 EPDL Plus Professional, meaning this is the hole for the EPDL Plus, right? That's why you see leftover things right there, the through hole wiring kits, and this right here, because it's for the EPDL, meaning the EPDL drive fits here. I don't know if you could retrofit it. I don't want to get into that, but my point is, it's the same hole, okay? Yeah, so the drives are the same, 5-year warranty, instant reverse. These drives are, I highly recommend these drives. I never had a problem with it. I know other people have had problems with it, but I can't speak for how they used it or anything else. My point is, I personally have never experienced a problem with these drives, and some of them I have kept for many years, and I fish in salt water, blah blah blah. So let's continue. Let's move on over here. You know what, let me remove the drives, that way you see the hole and everything else. Boom. Let's remove this one as well so you can see more. Boom. This is for your transducer that is gonna go underneath the hole, and it's gonna be protected by the sidewall, and you could tell that it's the same thing. You got two scopers right here, two scopers right there, then the drive well, and the padding, it looks like this one has more padding than this one over here. Something I would like to say is, if you look at these two closely, over here you're seeing it is much wider. You have way more space than you have on the Legacy 120 PDL. So you may want to stand up maybe a little more towards the deck area, and since it doesn't have any padding, it could be a little slippery, so just be mindful of that. While we're here, look at that. See that there? Have you noticed, are you noticing something? You don't see something there, right? But you do see it there, right? You got horizontal rod holders right here on the 120 Pro. You got two of them on each side. Over here, you don't have that, but you do have these lines here, so you could technically drop a rod in here and it will rest there, and it should be fine. But in here, it's more protected. It's not gonna fall off your boat. I mean, stuff happens, so careful. See another major difference here if you compare these two? See the gear tracks? 18 inches, plastic, generic, blah blah blah. Over here, these are like, I don't know, like 36 inches long gear tracks. Look super cool. They act as a handle as well. Instead of having a handle here in the middle, it's in the gear tracks. Super cool stuff. You got through hole wiring system if you want to mount your electronics on the right or the left. In here, you don't have that. You do have the same pockets though, but the difference here with the pockets is that it has this little cutout and it acts as a cup holder. It will drain out. Super cool. Over here you do have 2 cup holders, actually only one because the other one is occupied by the rudder control system. And talking about that, you got the rudder control system right here, and you have it over there. This one is an aftermarket one that I from Yak Hobby that I got. You could purchase them. I'm gonna link them as well if you want to do that. I like the color of that one. I don't know, I think this could be improved. Boom. And if we continue walking back, you see that over here you got an access plate, and that is mainly for the installation of the rudder up and down system, but you could also use it to put something like your trolling motor throttle or something like that, whatever you want to put in there. And you got a forward flush mounted rod holders, and over here you got 1, and then you got 3 more flush mounted rod holders. I know I'm skipping things, I'll be back, don't worry, and just stay with me, okay? So going back here, let me stand up over here so you can see from the top of the mountain. Wow, the tank well over here on the new 120 Pro is wider. You got more space. Kind of like the back space right here is sort of similar. Not a major difference between those two over there, if you can tell. But when it comes to this section here, it feels like you have more space. And you do, because I mean, look at that. The walls are thinner. You don't have this cutout like this. You have more like a rectangle type of thing. And then you got a space here. This is for your rods. Like your rods butt will rest here, and then they will go inside, and then the reels will, like, you got space here for those reels. And also, if you look, you get an access hatch from factory here in the rear if you want to put work here on the back, especially for the cable. Like once you wire this boat, the cable comes here, you could just put it through here easy without having to do anything crazy. You do have the space right here on the back, and actually you have a dotted line or point. It tells you where you could cut out to put your own hatch if you want to work here in the rear, but at least you don't have to do that because you're paying an extra $600. It's already done for you. And another major difference here on the back, if you could tell, is the gear tracks. You got another set of 36-inch gear tracks, and by the way, they have a nice cutout here. You could just easily put your Yak Attack accessory and stuff like that. Boom, you got 2 of them right here, and you don't have them on the back of this boat. Another thing that I was disappointed about is, look at this, you only got 1 power pole / motor power pole setting, through hole, whatever, 4-hole pattern, whatever the name is. You only got 1 there, and here you got 2. So in theory, you could easily go ahead and have your power pole, which is very useful, by the way, if you happen to just have the drive and not a GPS trolling motor. And then on the right, you could have a NK300, NT300, whatever the heck you want to put in there, NK180, and have a dual triple motor setup if you want. The cool thing about this is that you have option. Also, if you look back here, the rudder system is the same. The way that these 2 boats look from the back, they look like the same thing. Instead of having the rudder on top of the boat like this, over here, you have it on the side. Again, saving space. That's why this is so thin, instead of being like that. Like, you got way more space here, more usable space. And now that we made it all the way to the back, let's talk about one of the major, most differences between these 2 boats. And you're looking at it. I know this is not a seat that goes on the 120 PDL, but I just grabbed whatever I saw. This one is from the Tandem 130 Malibu T that I have. I just grabbed the seat to put it there because it fits, and that's cool. But that seat is actually familiar too. This is the autopilot seat. This seat is the same one that you have on the autopilot 120 and 130, and is under a brand new base that Old Town just came up with. And the cool thing about the seat is that you do sit higher, and let me take a look to see if that is the case. Yeah, I think you do sit higher. The way that the boat is designed, you do sit higher, because the thing is that that hole over there where the drive is a little lower, and then you're sitting higher, so you're getting, I don't know how many inches of highness you're getting, but you're sitting higher. It feels better actually to pedal that one over this one because of the seating. Also, if you need to stand up and do your fishing, it's easier to stand up from over there. Now this base I'm not a big fan of, so I think it could be improved. This plastic, I think it could be tougher over here in the back, and I mentioned this in other videos. I don't like that there's nothing here from stopping this seat from falling off. Like, see, this, even if yours doesn't do this when you get it brand new, over time it's gonna start doing this, right? Because you're gonna be like doing this and moving around. Eventually this is gonna get looser and looser and looser, and then what could happen is you could, like, if you're, especially if you're a heavier person, this could shift out of position and you could fall off. So I don't like it that this is like this, and this may not be enough to prevent that. But what you can do is, as a consumer, I would just go ahead and add my own can strap to this and just tie it nicely down so it doesn't move out of place ever. Or some people will design something aftermarket. I don't think it's a deal breaker. I just want to point it out. I think the seat base could be better. But the other thing is, look at that. How much space you got under the seat. You sort of have a lot of space under the seat as well, but I feel like this one you got more space because the seat is higher. You could actually, I don't know. Just look at it. The seat frame is higher, but the space underneath is not. This is why you compare things, guys. See, sometimes you get an opinion about something from your memory and it's not correct. So the space underneath is not bigger, like the opening space. It's about the same. But what is different is once the seat is where it needs to go, the space is much higher. So the idea will be, let's say you want to put a battery here or something, or a big box, you could actually put the box and then put the seat on top. Here you won't have that space. I guess that's what I was thinking before. But well, yeah. So going forward, you still have this access hatch right here that you could use to put your wires through places and stuff like that. If you want, it's sort of the same thing. The hatch will work the same way on each side. And on the PDL Plus model, this is where your battery will go, which is because it's a tiny amped outdoor lithium battery. Now, major difference here that I didn't touch on, man, and it's maybe it's whatever. Let's get into it. Look at this, guys. The seat on the Old Town 120 Professional is on a set of gear tracks. This one, it is on a set of gear tracks, but you can't, like, you got designated spaces for it. You can just, let's say you want it right here, you can't. You have to move it a little backwards. Over here, you could select exactly where you want the seat. If you want to have it all the way up, like I have it right here, or move it all the way back here. That's super cool, man, that they did that. Woo, nice. Now, this area here, I like it. I like the space because I could put my cooler in there, and then I don't have to take away from my backpacking here or whatever else I want to do here on the back. I think we covered enough of the top. Let's go ahead and flip them over. I spent a minute looking at each of these two holes and I didn't see any differences. Maybe you could tell, but they're exactly the same size. So that means I could tell you everything there is to know about this kayak because I already know this kayak, the bottom hole at least. Well, let's start over there. You see that? That's where your transducer will go, and look how much space you have. You basically have from like here to over there for your transducer, and then it is protected by the walls. You see that? Super cool, man. So you can put a giant transducer there if you want. A lot of you guys, all you're doing is just putting forward facing sonar on a little thingy that rotates, so this may not even apply to you anymore. Maybe if you want side scan, whatever, you do you. I don't have time for that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the specs. Well, I show you how the boats look. Each boat is 36 inches wide, and you can tell it's very fat. and they're about 12 feet long. Tiny little differences here and there. They may not be exactly what I just said, but the whole of the 120 normal, like old 120 PDL, is 97 pounds, while this one over here is 112 pounds. Not sure why the extra weight. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, oh, you got tubes in there, so this thing has extra stuff, more gear tracks, so that may be adding to the weight. You got more stuff on top of the boat than that one over there. The seat is only 6 pounds, which makes sense. It's very light. You can see it there, just tubing and a little bit of fabric, but don't let that fool you. It's very comfortable, durable, and totally highly recommendable by me. The weight capacity on this boat, on the 120 Pro, it is a whopping 565 pounds. Of that, 420 pounds is usable. I think what they mean about usable is once they add everything that is on the, like the entire weight of the boat, including the gear tracks and everything, once they add that and take it from the maximum flotation, that's gonna leave you with 420 pounds of stuff that you could actually use. But I think we're gonna have to do our own testing, because what do they mean by usable capacity? Do they mean that if you load it up with 420 pounds, the water line is gonna be right here, or is it gonna be right here, right? We don't know that. We're gonna have to test it. We're planning to do tests like that coming soon. And if we look back here, they look the same to me. Same sacrificial thingy on the keel to protect it. If you're gonna go ahead and start just lifting this boat and dragging it everywhere, this is gonna protect it. You could change it up later. And you got the rudder, which is the same rudder. I really like how easy it is. Well, actually, you don't have to do anything. The rudder is already installed for you, and you can make micro adjustments by pulling the, like screwing this in and out if you need to. And one thing I didn't mention though is that I wish the rudder system on this boat, especially the new one, was actually beefier, wider. And I understand why they didn't do it, because it works well enough with this boat right here. And the truth is that the bottom hole is basically the same. I do want to add a few points though. Is it worth the extra $600 to get the Pro? I think so, because just how easy it is to motorize it if you don't want to use the drive, it's epic. It's totally worth the money. Like if you're gonna go ahead and start doing the same thing that is already there on this boat right here, you must spend hundreds of dollars in time to get to the same thing that you already have by paying a little bit more money. But what else you get? You get the gear tracks. Gear track costs money. Just Google it. Like a 36-inch gear track, like only one, it's gonna cost you probably 60 bucks. Times 4, how much money is that already? 120, 240, right? We're already almost, like in terms of stuff that you get on this kayak, we're probably even already if you want this kayak to be like this one. The difference is you don't have to do anything because it's already done for you. But hey, maybe you don't want or need any of the stuff that this boat has. Maybe you're fine with this one right here. So up to you. Another note is speed. I did feel like the old 120 PDL is faster, and there's a simple reason for that. This one is heavier, or maybe I got heavier myself. Well, that's true. I think I got heavier a little bit, but still, it's about 15 pounds less that you have on the standard 120 versus the brand new 120 Pro, and that will make it the new one will be a slower boat, but that not by much. We're talking about maybe 0.2 miles an hour, according to Grok. So I need you to go down there in the comment and let me know what boat are you getting, and please don't say a Hobie, because what does that even mean? See ya.